If you love racing games as much as we do and you own a PS5 or plan on picking up the new PS5 Pro, stick around because I'm going to run you through our picks for the top 10 current PS5 racing games. Whether you enjoy serious simulations or simple yet addictive arcade games, the PlayStation 5 has something for every racing game fan, and this list covers a wide spectrum of styles and disciplines. The only criteria here is that they must be native PS5 games, so backwards compatible PS4 games, for example, are not eligible. Now, there are of course more than 10 great PS5 racing titles, so just before the green flag flies, let's warm up with some honourable mentions that didn't quite make the grid. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged is a solid entry in the acclaimed arcade racing series, with new vehicle types, abilities, and outdoor environments. Grid Legends, on the other hand, is an underrated circuit racer, with a variety of racing classes, a novel story mode with live-action cutscenes featuring Doctor Who himself, by the way, Ncuti Gatwa, and more accessible handling than Gran Turismo 7. Meanwhile, TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 3 offers the most intense racing experience on two wheels as you hurtle down the famous Snaefell mountain course at terrifying speeds, or explore the surrounding country roads at your leisure in an open world. If you're looking for something different, Inertial Drift Twilight Rivals Edition stands out with its unique twin-stick drift controls and stylish presentation reminiscent of Ridge Racer. Meanwhile, Distance is a unique blend of driving, platforming, and horror survival, arriving on PS5 6 years after its initial PC release, and World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 is a superb sprint car racer. So already we have an eclectic mix of recommendations, but let's now dive into our top 10. For motorcycle enthusiasts, Milestone's Ride series is hard to beat. Hailed as the Gran Turismo of bike games, these ride titles have more licensed motorcycles than Super GT has subscribers, from the likes of Ducati, Triumph, BMW, and many more. Ride 5 launched with over 230 bikes, with DLC packs further increasing this number. Its comprehensive roster of road bikes sets Ride 5 apart from Milestone's MotoGP series. An eerily lifelike clip of wet weather riding in Ride 4 helped the series go viral on social media. Running on Unreal Engine 5, Ride 5 looks even more impressive, with an improved dynamic weather system bringing enhanced lighting and volumetric clouds. An extensive career mode featuring over 200 events also introduces a new rivals system, pitting you against 10 opponents in head-to-head challenges. If you're new to bike games, a rewind system makes Ride 5 the most accessible entry yet, and the bike handling feels more refined, with a wealth of assists to help you tweak the difficulty to suit your skill level. This game is a must-have for two-wheel racing fans looking for a lengthy single-player experience. EA Sports WRC sees Codemasters and EA take over the World Rally Championship game license from KT Racing and Nakon, ushering a new era of official World Rally Championship games, with mixed results. Switching to Unreal Engine 4 enabled Codemasters to create some of the most authentic stages ever seen in a rally game, with the longest lasting nearly 35 kilometers. As you would expect from a developer with a rich rally game heritage dating back to the original Colin McRae Rally, the car handling and audio design is masterful, easily trumping KT Racing's WRC generations. The car selection is a rally enthusiast's dream, from the latest Rally 1 hybrid monsters to classics like the Audi Sport Quattro S1 Group B Legend, Colin McRae's iconic pair of Imprezas, and lesser-known fan favourites like the Mitsubishi Galant VR4. You can even build your own car from scratch in EA Sports WRC's build mode. Unfortunately, moving to the aforementioned Unreal tech is as much a curse as a blessing. The game's murky visuals fall short of expectations, and the PS5 version still suffers occasional frame drops and screen tearing. Although we found it to be nowhere near as bad as the initial stuttering PC launch, it lacks the visual polish we've come to expect from Codemasters racing games. While it lacks an official WRC license and the stages are noticeably shorter, Dirt Rally 2.0 arguably outshines EA Sports WRC in some respects. Powered by Codemasters' in-house Ego engine still used in the F1 games, it not only looks sharper and cleaner, but also features FIA rallycross racing. If only Dirt Rally 2.0 had a native PS5 release. Instead of releasing annual sequels like the F1 series, EA sees WRC as a platform to build on. A recent update added cars, liveries and stages from the 2024 championship, with more DLC planned in 2025. It's a refreshing approach, in contrast to yearly sequels with incremental improvements sold at full price. If you enjoy watching sim racing content on YouTube or just general gaming videos, perhaps you want to have a go at creating some for yourself. This is where Elgato steps in. It has an incredible range of streaming and video production products like capture cards, webcams, microphones, cam links, green screens, anything you can think of that's going to help you with your video production and streaming, Elgato probably has a product. Just make sure you check out the affiliate link down in the description below. By doing so, you'll be able to buy those products, and also Traxion will get a little bit of assistance and support from that as well. Next up, a completely different approach to the same discipline, but with shed loads of charm. Art of Rally is an indie game gem. From fun selectors Jun Kasu, the creator of Absolute Drift and the more recent Golden Lap, Art of Rally sees you navigate idyllic point-to-point stages from a top-down perspective. Alternatively, you can take a leisurely drive exploring open environments, taking photos and gathering collectibles. There's no co-driver calling out pace notes to guide you. After all, that would ruin the tranquil ambience. Despite a lack of licensed cars, this is a love letter to the golden age of rally racing, from the 1960s to the 1990s. The deceptively deep handling model is rewarding, complemented with a calming synthwave soundtrack and stylized low-poly visuals. From the serene presentation to the satisfying handling, Art of Rally is simply sublime. There once was a time when Wipeout was a prominent fixture of the PlayStation game lineup, but the series has long been dormant. Luckily, Redout 2 is a worthy successor to the beloved futuristic racing series. Developed by Italian indie studio 34 Big Things, Redout 2 delivers everything you could want from a futuristic racer, a genre that is sorely underrepresented on PS5 in the wake of Wipeout. As you navigate the gravity-defying tracks, your ship's speed is so mind-meltingly fast, it should be measured in Mach numbers. Mastering these anti-gravity courses requires skill and precision, with the ability to strafe using the left analog stick and adjust your ship's pitch with the right stick. You must also pay attention to your boost bar, as overusing it will cause your ship to overheat and explode, adding an extra layer of challenge. It's a steep learning curve, and Redout 2 can be relentlessly difficult as a result, but that's also what makes it so compulsive. It's a shame that this game fell under a lot of players' radars. If you're a fan of futuristic racers and pinning for a new Wipeout-style game, Redout 2 deserves a place in your PS5 games library. Why hasn't Codemaster's latest F1 game, F1 24, made our top 10 PS5 racing games list, we hear you ask? Well, because for many, F1 24 was plain disappointing. A revamped career mode did let you race as the real drivers for the first time, but as much as this was a welcome addition, we feel it didn't move the series forward enough, and a My Team tweak is long overdue. Aside from the lack of innovation, handling is a core issue. At launch, it was forgiving to the point where you could fly over curbs without consequence, and chuck cars around corners at preposterous speeds. Patch updates have since improved these issues, yet F1 23 feels better to drive, with tighter, more satisfying controls. With no major changes to this year's season, at least at the start of the season, F1 23's driver and track roster is identical to F1 24's. You also get Breaking Point 2.0, which continues the story of fictional drivers Devin Butler and Aiden Jackson, racing as teammates for the new 11th team, Connor Sport. Breaking Point provides a welcome diversion from the career, but is sorely absent in F1 24. With Breaking Point taking 2 years to develop, the story mode is expected to return in F1 25. Elsewhere, F1 World is largely the same in F1 23 and F1 24, a mostly superfluous cramming of mobile game ideas into a PC and console title. Last year's game is cheaper than this year's too, making F1 23 a pretty solid recommendation for any of you who don't have a contemporary Formula 1 title in your library. Normally reserved for the PC crowd, hardcore racing simulations are seldom seen on consoles. Assetto Corsa Competizione is a rare and welcome exception. Simulating the official GT World Challenge series, Assetto Corsa Competizione's commitment to realism makes it daunting for new players, and you'll need a racing wheel setup to get the most out of it. The original PS4 port was plagued with performance issues, but that's fortunately less true on PS5, especially after a spate of post-release patches. Not only does the PS5 version boast better graphics and a more stable frame rate, but DLC like the Challengers Pack is only available for the current gen version. With Assetto Corsa Evo's console port potentially years away, Assetto Corsa Competizione is hands down the most realistic racing simulator on Sony's current console, with true-to-life driving physics, dynamic weather effects, and laser-scanned tracks. If you're looking for a more casual racing experience, there are plenty of arcade-style indie racing games out there on PS5, but for us, Horizon Chase 2 takes the crown. Building on the hit Horizon Chase World Tour mobile racer and its predecessor's PC and console port, Horizon Chase 2 was originally an Apple Arcade exclusive before it was ported to PS5 over a year later. Inspired by old-school arcade games like Outrun, this retro racer sees you tear across vibrant locations, from the lush jungles of the Amazon rainforest to an active volcano in Japan. Compared to the original, the cars and environments are more detailed without losing their retro charm, while the smoother handling makes driving more enjoyable. Once again, the soundtrack is terrific, with new songs from legendary Barry Leitch, who composed the iconic soundtracks for the Top Gear games, complementing the fast-paced gameplay. On the downside, Horizon Chase 2's campaign is shorter than its predecessors, and it's unclear if new cars and locations will be added in post-launch DLC like the original. However, hunting for blue coins scattered on each track does add replay value, with a bonus location set on the moon unlocked for collecting all 349 coins. Removing the requirement to top up your fuel by collecting canisters also makes the campaign far less frustrating. Whenever you want to enjoy a quick blast of pure, unadulterated arcade racing, Horizon Chase 2 is a perfect choice. The Crew series was renowned for its incredible scale, allowing players to explore the entire US in an enormous open world. And so, it was surprising when the Crew Motorfest was announced with a significantly smaller map set on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. Luckily, the gamble paid off, resulting in a more polished and focused experience. Being set around a sprawling car culture festival, Motorfest can sometimes feel like a derivative Forza Horizon clone, but that's not a bad thing for PS5 owners, since Microsoft's open-world driving games are forbidden fruit on Sony's console. However, Motorfest follows a different structure to its rival, with themed playlists celebrating different car cultures and featuring cameo appearances from YouTube influencers like Black Panther, Supercar Blondie, and former Donut Media host James Pumphrey. Graphically, the island of Oahu looks stunning with its blissful beaches and jaw-dropping sunsets. It was already one of the best-looking current-gen racing games, but the PS5 Pro update adds an extra layer of polish with denser environments and new reflection effects. Vehicle handling is a step up from the Crew 2's floaty driving physics, and cars from the last game can be imported from your garage so you can continue your progress. The best part is, this game keeps getting better, with the free Season 5 update recently adding a new volcanic island set in Maui to explore. With its gorgeous graphics, frequent live service updates, and variety of vehicles from cars to boats to planes, the Crew Motorfest sets the gold standard for open-world PS5 racers. Thanks to strict licensing requirements, vehicle damage modelling often leaves a lot to be desired in racing games with real cars. Enter Wreckfest, Bugbear Entertainment's brilliant destruction racer, where battering opponents is not only allowed, but encouraged in full-contact races and arena events. Even though it's now over 5 years old, Wreckfest's soft body damage technology is unsurpassed on PS5. The driving physics are surprisingly involving too, whether you're sliding around in a beaten-up estate car or trying not to tip over a three-wheeler. Wreckfest took a long time to arrive on consoles following the initial early access PC release in 2013, when it was known as Next Car Game, but it was worth the wait, with the PS5 upgrade featuring higher resolution textures and a reliably smooth frame rate despite the copious amounts of on-screen chaos. With Wreckfest 2 on the way and set to dial up the destruction, post-launch updates for the original Smash 'em Up have ended, but the lengthy career mode and active online player base more than makes up for this. With up to 24 players causing carnage, Wreckfest's online racing is gloriously mental. Gran Turismo has always been the pinnacle of PlayStation racing games, and the latest entry, Gran Turismo 7, is no exception. When it comes to console racing, GT7 is class-leading, with spellbinding 4K visuals, realistic yet intuitive driving physics whether you play on a wheel or a DualSense controller, and a gargantuan collection of meticulously modelled cars. Its predecessor was a departure from the series, with Gran Turismo Sport focusing on esports and ranked online racing, foregoing a traditional single-player campaign at launch. GT7 returns to the series' roots, bringing back series staples like used car dealerships and tuning while introducing the somewhat esoteric GT Cafe. Admittedly, the campaign can feel like a glorified tutorial at times that's over far too soon, with quest-style missions requiring you to collect specific cars. Since it launched in March 2022, a raft of free updates have added new cars, tracks, and campaign events. Then, there's the human-like Sophie AI agent introduced in the Spec 2 update, which is a game changer for racing driver AI. If you have a PSVR 2 headset, GT7 offers one of the best virtual reality racing experiences out there. It's also set to showcase the PS5 Pro's prowess, with in-race ray tracing and an 8K graphics mode promised in an upcoming patch. It may not reach the same heights as the first 4 genre-defining games in this series, but if you're remotely interested in cars and you own a PS5, Gran Turismo 7 is essential. So that's it, 10 must-have racing games for your beloved Sony console, and a handful of alternative options should they take your fancy. Which of these games is your favourite? Will you be picking any of them up after watching this video? And are there any games that you think should have been on this list that weren't? Let us know in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button for more racing game content like this, and click on the notification bell to catch our latest videos as they are released. You can also get involved by joining the TraxionGG paddock over on our Discord server, link and information in the description. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.